Hello there. My name is Moy with my co-host Corey. We are the Real Guys, and this is the Real Show with two E's. You a blind lawyer by day and a superhero by night, Corey.
Private information.
Yeah. You can't disclose that. But as always, my name is Moy. I'm with my co-host Corey. How are you doing today, Corey?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Of course. And we're going to jump into Daredevil Born Again. Jump into it like an athletic superhero lawyer hero. He's a very good lawyer.
He's a very good lawyer.
He's a very good lawyer. And this is an action adventure, crime drama, legal drama, and superhero drama, Corey. All those things wrapped into one package. Now, my first question is, apart from the fact that you can listen to us on Spotify, Amazon Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, anywhere you get your podcasts, we're there, you can listen to us.
Correct.
And, yes, my first question to you is, have you seen Daredevil on Netflix?
I've seen bits, not the whole thing.
Right, how much have you seen?
I know the basic premise. So, spoiler-wise, I roughly know what happens.
Right, from the first 3 seasons, I think the Netflix Daredevil was.
Yeah.
And then they did a bunch of others. They did Luke Cage and Iron Fist and Jessica Jones.
Yeah, I've seen Iron
and
Fist. I've not
then
seen
they
the
did
rest.
the Punisher as well.
Yeah.
I've seen Jessica Jones and I've seen Daredevil.
Okay.
I've not seen Iron Fist or Luke Cage, and I've also
I've
seen
seen
the
Iron
Defenders.
Fist.
Right, I know because
So-
you love Iron Fist.
Yes.
And you've not seen the Defenders, which has Iron Fist in it.
I've not seen the Defenders, no.
Okay, all right. And that was like an era of Netflix Marvel where that was a great era as well. It was like all the New York low city heroes, the heroes for hire, basically, was what they were called.
Yeah.
Luke Cage and Iron Fist and Jessica Jones and Daredevil. A great combination show. It's like the mini Avengers almost.
Yeah,
It's like the street level street Avengers. Electro was in it, Kingpin, all the great characters. Iron Fist had like Typhoid Mary in it or something like that, I remember. Yeah. And I don't know who was the vanilla Luke Cage show, not sure.
Know, 'cause I've not seen it.
Yeah, neither have I. I know Jessica Jones had Kilgrave, the Purple Man,
Yep.
which was played by David Tennant. Fantastic. But yeah, Daredevil Born Again picks up after the Daredevil Netflix show is canon to the Daredevil Born Again universe.
Yep.
So it did happen in the MCU. So that means that maybe the rest happened in the MCU as well.
I
but
guess.
The Punisher certainly happened.
Yeah.
Because if we get the Punisher in this. He's in it, yeah. John Bernthal returns as Frank Castle.
Yeah.
Another man who returns from the Netflix show is the infamous Vincent D'Onofrio, Wilson Fisk, Kingpin.
Yeah.
I'm mayor now. I'm now the mayor. Elect Fisk. As you can tell.
Yeah.
I've been working on the impression.
Have you been working on the impression, have you?
I have been working on the impression. Yeah. You've got to stagger. You've got to stagger your words, and also you've got to. I think a deal of facial twitching helps, because he's the twitchiest man in New York. He's got a twitchy face. He's got twitchy hands, and he's also a powerful man.
He's a very powerful man, especially now in this series.
Especially now, yes, because he's been elected as the mayor of New York City.
Yes, he's Mayor
and
Fisk.
of course, no super powerful. Maniacal maniac tyrant could ever be elected to a position of elected office, right, Corey? No, that'd never happen. Only in the world of fiction.
Only in the world of fiction.
Yes, could it ever happen? Could a man like Wilson Fisk be elected as mayor? But he wants to make some changes. He wants to make New York great again by making a port in Hell's Kitchen, Harlem. Where was he going to make?
I can't remember where it is.
There's so many boroughs. Brooklyn. I don't know if he's going to make the port.
Yeah.
Albany. I'm not sure. I'm from Utica. So Utica is an Albany expression. And Mayor Fisk wants to improve New York City by making this port and also by creating an anti-vigilante task force.
Correct.
Modelled on the Punisher, because one of the first cases that this new Daredevil takes is... Or maybe we should take it right from the start.
Okay.
Where we get the Netflix Daredevil, we get Foggy Nelson.
Correct.
And Karen Page, both reprising their roles from the Netflix series.
Yep.
Eldon Henson and Deborah Wall as Foggy and Karen. Were you happy to see them when it turned up?
So obviously, like I say, I've not fully seen it, so I knew who they were, but not.
Right. Did you know they were the same actors?
Yes. But I didn't know, obviously, what everything that's happened to them.
Right.
But I think that will go to help this series as a testament to how good it is, because spoilers, first episode does not go well.
Yeah, Foggy dies first episode. Spoilers, yeah, big spoilers.
does not go well for him. But I still not really knowing who he was. I was still like, okay, I like how this has happened. It affects obviously Daredevil and Matt Murdock's character. I still liked it. I still felt for them. So the writing in this whole series is great.
Yes, yes.
It's really good.
It's very rare that after I tell you to watch something, you come back and you tell me straight away how good you think it is.
Yes.
It's very rare for that to happen. Sometimes I'll tell you something and I will hear nothing else until we do the review of it from you. But it's very rare for me to tell you to watch something, you to go away and watch it, and come back, and before we've even recorded the episode, you say, "I like this. I want to talk about it. It's really good."
Yep.
So the Daredevil Born Again must have something for you, and we get the tragic loss of Foggy Nelson, and it breaks my heart. He throws Bullseye off that building.
Yep. Which poor Bullseye, by the way.
Yeah, poor Bullseye. I'm surprised he wasn't able to get up. Able to get up after that, you know. Well, not poor Bullseye. Obviously, he's murdered a man.
Correct.
And he's been sent to jail. But I imagine that's not the last we'll see of him. He'll
Probably
be
not. He's
he'll be
alive.
back again. Yes.
So.
And of course, Bullseye is the major opponent of Daredevil. He's often described as Daredevil's greatest villain, next to Kingpin. And Bullseye is played by the same actor as in the Netflix Daredevil as well. I think he's in the 3rd season or the 2nd season, something like that. I think I've only seen the first 2 seasons. Have I seen all of it? I think I've seen all of it.
Okay.
And I don't know, I'm questioning myself there, but probably because I was trying to remember what happened in the 3rd season, then I've suddenly remembered. And Kingpin has this whole plot of going to prison, so that's why he's always going on about it in this show. He's always going like, "Oh, well, judges can be wrong, courts can be wrong. I was put in prison once, and I had a big hallway fight scene. You go in a hallway, and you fight men."
Yeah.
You know, like that. That's how you do it. So Kingpin has a lady friend with him, Vanessa, from the Daredevil Netflix series as well. She's back as well. And the kind of Kingpin's plot is that he was involved in Hawkeye and involved in Echo, and he's now trying to get out of the fact that he was involved in Hawkeye and Echo.
Yeah.
Because he talks about how I went away for a long time.
Yeah.
I did 2 shows, and now I'm back in this Daredevil show, and I'm trying to explain away the fact that I was in other shows.
Yeah. Obviously, we've covered Echo before.
We've covered Hawkeye.
Yeah, I've covered Hawkeye as well.
So both instances of the Vinny D, Wilson Fisk, we've discussed. But let's talk about comparisons. How do you think Vinny D, Wilson Fisk compares in Born Again to Hawkeye and Echo?
So, from my recollection in Echo, Kingpin, and one of the things I like about Kingpin is he's not like hands-on in terms of like other villains where he gets people to do things for him, which I like because for me at least, it creates Kingpin as more of a, like, not as more of a threat, but it's longer to get to him.
Yeah, shadowy. He's kind of a figure in the shadows, you know. He's like you don't get to me, you get to like the middleman kind of guy.
And in Echo, we saw loads of different scenes where obviously he was maybe trying to be a bit more, not kinder, but he was like trying to act that way, and he had the ASL interpretations and stuff. Whereas in this, he's a bit more, I know what I want to do. I'm going to do it. Also,
I'd say,
hello, Adam, in the prison cell. Here's an axe.
Yeah, exactly. I'd say he's back to form. He's back to full Kingpin form.
Yeah.
He mentions it's one line. He goes, "Oh, I tried to mentor someone once. It didn't work, and now I'm back to this." And and he is back to this, and he's back to full form Kingpin. Great, speeches, long metaphors, and powerful choke slams onto tables, and eating big old dinner. He's chowing down on big old dinners.
Yeah.
Just eating loads of food. And that must be a wrinkle of, like, the D'Onofrio character. Because I don't know how many Daredevil comics you've read.
I haven't.
Or Spider-Man comics you've read. Where Kingpin's just eating, just having a big plate of sausage, big plate of beef, big plate of omelette. And he's just enjoying his 5-star cuisine. And he's got his criminal empire under him.
Yep.
That's been run by his wife.
Correct.
And there's tension in the fact that New York is still a crime-ridden city.
Yep.
And because Daredevil was off, it's been a year since...
It's been a year since Daredevil's gone.
Since Daredevil's gone.
Died a year ago.
Yeah, Foggy died a year ago. It'll be a year since Daredevil's gone. And a bunch of other vigilantes are now picking up the slack, like the White Tiger.
Correct. who I knew of the White Tiger before us.
Yes, I did as well. I knew of the female version of the White
Yeah, so
Tiger,
did I.
which many people may have.
Mainly from the like Amazing Spider-Man cartoon series.
Yeah, that's exactly where I also know of White Tiger from. Yeah, you've got the same
Yeah.
there, yeah.
But it was interesting to see White Tiger in this. Doesn't last long.
Hmm.
Was it 3 episodes or 4?
It's 3.
Yeah. But obviously, in hindsight, worked out in a way that makes it easier for him going forward.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Tragically, the actor passed away for White Tiger.
And the White Tiger that we know is probably Ava Alaya.
Yes.
And this is her uncle, father. I think the
Yeah.
young girl in the show is actually meant to be Ava.
Yeah. So presumably, give it a little bit, and we'll get like White Tiger back again, and
Yeah, she'll be White Tiger. Yeah.
whatever. But I enjoyed the like 3 episodes of White Tiger.
You know what I enjoyed about those 3 episodes of White Tiger is?
Go on.
They talk about the amulet a lot, and I'm glad they do. They could easily have gone with like, this kind of stuff doesn't exist in our universe, blah blah blah. But they're not shying away from it. They're going, this guy's got a mystical amulet that gives him mystical fighting abilities. Let's use that in court or something like that, you know. And they keep mentioning Spider-Man, Fair, and I'm surprised no one's mentioned the. Have they mentioned the snap yet? Have they mentioned the blip, as they call it?
I think so. No.
Oh. I thought they might have, but it's stuff like that. That sort of supernatural, superpower Marvel element that comes into a real show story like this, and that comes into a story like this that influences it in that sort of the real world terms, like, oh, how do regular people deal with a guy that's got a magical amulet who can, you know, jump around and fight and all stuff like that. And yes, Hector Ayala is murdered at the end of when he's released from court.
He's released from court. Kingpin doesn't like that because he doesn't want any vigilantes going around anywhere.
No.
And so he is just unceremoniously just shot in the head.
Shot in the street, yeah. And we see the Punisher logo.
We do.
And you were led to believe that that is the Punisher, but of course it's not.
It's not the Punisher,
because we see the cops with the Punisher tattoos, which leads many to believe that this will be the story. Oh, I can't remember the title of it at the minute, but it's a great story in the comics where Frank finds out that corrupt cops, are using his logo as like a calling card, a rallying cry. And of course, that's not what he made the Punisher for. That's not what he created the Punisher symbol to mean. So of course, he takes quite Punisher style revenge against them, and he gives them several accidents, as we'd have to say on the radio.
Correct.
But yes, he murders them incredibly brutally. And he just kills until there's no more corrupt cops left. Which I imagine is what he's going to do here.
Potentially.
Because Matt tracks down the Punisher because of a bullet that was used that had his logo on it in the murder of Hector Ayala. And Punisher basically says, you know, that's not me, obviously, because I've been living down in this cellar with a beard.
Cellar bunker thing, yeah.
Bunker, yeah. And he doesn't want to get back into the fight, just like Matt. So perhaps Punisher, we know he will thanks to leaked set photos, but Frank Castle's going to be back in the mix by the end of the show, I believe.
I mean, we've still got 2 episodes left. So I think it might come back in the next 2. It might leave him for season 2.
Yeah. Or maybe it's like a finale type deal.
Could be.
Now, not only is Kingpin a threat for New York City as its own mayor, but there's an infamous killer going around.
There is.
The Muse.
The Muse.
What's the deal with the Muse?
He is it's not
What's the deal with the Muse? So Jerry Seinfeld is now. What's the deal with painting with blood?
Yeah. So there's graffiti going around, and people are going missing, which Hector was looking into. There's loads of people going missing, and no one knows why. Which gets brought up again by the little girl. She mentions, he was looking at something, he was tracking something down, and graffiti pops up, and I can't remember if Kingpin either hires someone or someone goes into Kingpin's room, and it's like, oh yeah, there's all this graffiti, and they're using this, and it's like, and eventually reveals that it's been used, painted by blood.
It's a sanitation guy. It's a guy who's like just working on the line, and he's like, we've discovered that these paintings around the city, these murals are popping up around the city, and these murals are all made of human blood. So maybe we should do something about that.
And it's like 60+ victims.
Yeah.
Everyone's going missing, And he is just a graffiti. We see it in the scene. He just goes out in daylight sometimes.
Yeah, broad daylight.
These two women approach him and ask for a picture, and he just kidnaps them.
Yes, he does. And then he
Um,
turns them into a brutal muse, a
yep.
mural on the street.
And he's just going around, and no one knows who he is. No one knows where he's doing all of this. All we know is there's mirrors popping up everywhere, and they're being painted by human blood. And eventually, the little girl is not seen. Matthew gets very concerned.
Yes.
And decides, you know what? He's going to call the police. He calls them, decides not to speak to them, and goes, in his own words, "Fuck it."
Yeah.
And he's going to do it on his own.
He's going to turn into the Daredevil again because we see him in all of his helmets, his Daredevil helmets. He was thinking about becoming Daredevil.
He was thinking about it.
Yes, but now he's fully into it. He's got to rescue.
Yeah.
Ayala's niece,
Yes.
and now he enters the spooky layer of the Muse, and this is all happening because of a new character for the show, Heather Glenn.
Mm-hmm.
And Heather Glenn is a created character. She is an OC. She's an original character for this show.
Okay.
And you might not. Did you know that, Corey?
I didn't. I did do some research after watching this into comics, but I didn't do research specifically into characters that appear or that aren't comics or whatever.
Okay. Well, Heather Glenn is a creation of the show, and she is a therapist.
Yep.
And she wants to help Matt originally,
Yes.
but then goes to, because of Kirsten McDuffie, I think is that her name.
I believe so.
And she's a big comic character.
Mm-hmm.
She's a big comic character. She's a sort of Matt's partner when he does leave Murdoch and Nelson.
Yep.
McDuffie is a big character from there, and I'm glad to make sure I don't think she ever made it to the actual Netflix show.
Right.
So it's good to see her actually put in this instead. And she sets Matt up with Heather Glenn, and then Heather Glenn says, "Oh, I've got this big client coming in. Oh, it's big business, you know." And it's the Kingpin.
Yes.
It's Wilson Fisk and his wife Vanessa doing a bit of marriage counselling.
Mm-hmm.
And then in one episode, she's got this book. Heather Glenn's got this book.
Correct.
And this guy comes up to her, just random dude, and says, "Oh, I really like your book. Can you sign this book?" Okay, cool. And they show him at the start of the most recent episode, which is when we're recording this, episode 7.
Yes.
They show him at the start, and I had the same thought that probably a lot of people did. That guy's Muse.
Hmm.
And it turns out that guy's Muse.
Correct. He is.
Take us into it, Corey.
So you are correct. That guy is Muse. It's revealed after having a fight with Daredevil in his underground lair. He manages to escape, but the little girl is saved, and Daredevil's like, "We need to do something about this. He's gonna do whatever he can. He knows he's on by time." He is just having a therapy session, normal therapy session, and he's saying like, "Oh, you saved me. This is all because of you, your books, and your whatever else." And she starts getting a bit concerned. He's like, "Oh, you've unlocked the real me." He starts to have a nosebleed.
Yes, as you do.
To which he then like uses the blood in his nose to like paint some eyes.
And that's a lot of blood to come from your nose
It's
to paint a full picture of your own mask.
But yeah, paints it on this paper, and then immediately she's like,
Ah.
I know what's happening here. To which he goes, "I know what you're thinking. You're thinking if you can run to that door quick enough." To which her answer is to try and run to that door quick enough.
Yes. And then he goes, see, he's got a very sick, sadistic way of extracting the blood. He's got like a needle, and it's like a pump or something.
Yeah, he like injects them to, I guess, put him to sleep, and then uses this like clamp thing, which like drains it. One thing I love about Daredevil is the fact it does not shy away from
it does not.
Anything.
Even for me, I was like, I'm quite good with that type of stuff, and even for me, I was like, oh, when I was watching him do that massive deep cut on Heather Glenn's arm, it was like, oh.
In the scene as well, in like the little bunker thing, it looks up and there's like bodies just hanging. There's the scenes of like the women with her eyes like drained and gouged out and stuff.
Yes, yeah.
And yeah, like you said, he cuts a big old like slit in her arm, but he kidnaps her, takes her away. Matthew then realizes she's not there because I think he goes back into the cave because the little girl's like, oh, he's doing all his portraits, he's doing all his pictures, he's really obsessive about his pictures. Matthew goes back, looks at one, kind of feels it with his hands and realizes, wait a minute, I know exactly who this is.
It's the face. Yes. Do you like how they're doing Matt Murdock's powers
I,
of
I,
hear,
yeah,
touch, smell,
it's
taste?
I like because there's the little details as well with like he gets like the like funeral card for Foggy and it's got all Braille on it,
Mm.
and obviously because he can't see. And like he does a lot of like he walk around and you can tell he's like feeling for stuff. And obviously make jokes about it as well because a bank gets robbed, and
Mhm.
he's like, oh, I need to go to the toilet, and someone's got to escort him because he can't see. And
Yeah. And then he takes
I
that guy down in the
he
stairwell.
does, and he catches the shotgun.
Very coolly, yes, yeah. There was that episode. There was that episode, and I was like, I appreciate it can do this. It can like do like a very sort of indie film vibe, but we've got one location and 5 actors.
Yeah,
Let's do something interesting. And oh, what about Daredevil gets trapped in a bank heist? Oh, okay, excellent. And and that's what they do. And I was like, that is so
yeah,
Daredevil. That is such a great concept.
yeah.
And I wonder if that was a layover from the last Daredevil Born Again. Because if you're not aware, Corey, this show went through massive rewrites.
Did it?
Like, directors came and went. Foggy and Karen weren't even going to be in it. It went through massive, massive rewrites. And it's honestly a better product now than apparently it was. Apparently it was much worse. And I think this must have been a layover from that. That bank heist episode must have been a layover. Because it came out of nowhere and it was just this one unique concept episode of, oh, what if Daredevil gets stuck in a bank heist?
Yeah.
Exactly that. And it was such this weird out of nowhere concept, and I was like, I wonder if that was a layover from the last episode and they didn't change the last version of the show, and they didn't change anything. That was my suspect, but maybe not. I just felt like a bit out of the blue because it came between 2 very story heavy episodes.
It did, yeah, and all that. I mean, that episode it introduces Kamala's dad, Miss Marvel's
Yep.
dad, who works.
Kamala's
at the bank.
dad's back. Did you recognise him from Ms. Marvel?
I did. We reviewed that.
Yes, we have reviewed that.
It doesn't. I think that's about it. Obviously, like it introduces Matt Murdock and Vep, so I assume maybe at some point it at least acknowledges the fact that Miss Marvel exists, and obviously there's other stuff going on.
Yeah. And
But-
that Ms. Marvel's sort of still knocking about, which is always nice to know. Because I'm a big fan of Kamala Khan. I think Ms. Marvel is a bit underrated by people as a show. I think it was kind of looked over because Captain Marvel was the Captain Marvel film, and Ms. Marvel kind of went under the radar. I even think it's probably better than The Marvels, which I know was a film that you've never seen.
I haven't, no.
No, exactly. I didn't even need to even know that to know that. But yeah, I think Ms. Marvel is a good show and it goes under the radar, somewhat with Hawkeye as well.
Yeah.
Like Marvel, with the expense of kind of Echo, which I felt was a bit mid.
Yeah.
I think that Daredevil Born Again, Hawkeye, Ms. Marvel, they're all kind of obviously Daredevil Born Again is like another tier, obviously, because it's like this is the best Marvel show we've had in years, right? But it is on the quality of the Defenders, Netflix Daredevil type stuff. I honestly think it is. Because not only because of the strength of the performances, like, for a second, let's just have a look at the people that are in this, right? We've got Charlie Cox.
Yep.
Smashing it right out of the park. He's back in his old skin, you know. People thought that he was blind.
Yeah.
When Daredevil first came out. And they also thought he was American. He's not, he's British.
No, he's British.
Deborah Ann Wall, who hasn't acted in years, she does D&D on YouTube. Do you know that?
I did not know that.
She does like Dungeons and Dragons playthroughs on YouTube. I do recommend you look it up
Very nice.
because it's absolutely fun. Just watching her, and she doesn't even play. She DMs. She's a GM. She's a DM, and she does fantastically. There's a great, very infamous internet clip of her explaining what D&D is to John Bernthal, and that's just a riot. Michael Gandolfini, who's very famously James Gandolfini's son.
Mhm.
If you know James Gandolfini, and obviously The Sopranos.
Yep.
John, as we mentioned, John Bernthal himself, the Punisher, coming back from the Punisher and from Daredevil, the Netflix Daredevil.
Yep.
Wilson Bethel is back as Bullseye, and Margarita Lavea as Heather Glenn, and of course Vincent, the one and only Vinny D,
Yep.
Vincent D'Onofrio as the Kingpin. And I think he has been pushing for Daredevil to come back since Daredevil was cancelled by Netflix in, I want to say, 2018, I think.
Okay.
Vincent D'Onofrio has been like one of the main proprietors of Daredevil coming back, and I'm glad he's got his wish now, and he is being able to play Wilson Fisk as he should be, which I think is absolutely fantastic. I'm very appreciative of his performance, obviously, and you're glued to the screen
You are.
when he's on the screen. When Kingpin is just there's a moment in that seventh episode
Yeah.
where Kingpin's just sat on a windowsill talking for 5 minutes, and you're just glued to every single word, and he's not even doing it very much.
Yeah.
He's just sat there speaking, and I'm just watching him and you're thinking, oh my goodness, you're just enveloped in the character and the performance, and it's all coming out. And yes, I know I mock his voice for sounding a bit odd sometimes, but he could, he could kill me with his pinky finger, so it doesn't even matter. And he'd give me a big old body slam onto the chair or the table or whatever, right? Give me an F5 on the desk, it doesn't matter. So I think the Kingpin performance, the Daredevil performance, these are like the two great rivals of the show. And it pits them together. It's almost like a parallel story. Like, we could be watching a Kingpin show in many respects.
Yep.
Because it's a parallel story. You're watching Daredevil do stuff, you're watching Kingpin do stuff. Sometimes they intersect, sometimes they don't.
Yep.
And that's the fun of it, that you're watching a parallel story between two of the greatest Marvel characters. Corey.
I mean, things like that as well. It's really well done in this series because you see it in like one of the early episodes where Matt and Kingpin just have a conversation. But just sit down at a cafe and they're having a conversation, and Kingpin's like, "Oh, I'm not that person anymore. I want to be mayor. I want to change the city. And if Daredevil comes back, well, you're gonna have to pay and whatever." And Matthew just walks off, and then you slowly kind of see it where Kingpin's doing his own thing. He's just being a mayor, and then Muse dies in episode 7. He gets killed, and they're like, "Oh, we saw Daredevil at the he took out Muse." And Kingpin's like, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, kind of waves it off, and then he gets told again, and just you can just see him slowly just get like more and more just angry, and it's more and more concerned, and eventually it just clicks that this is what happened. In great Kingpin fashion, he tells everyone that it was his task force that killed Muse.
Mm-hmm.
It was his task force that did it. We're doing things, we're getting stuff done.
He does.
But and also, like, there's a fight scene in, I think it's episode 6 or episode 7, where Daredevil's fighting Muse, Kingpin's fighting Adam, and it just keeps intersecting with each other.
Yeah, and even the moves keep intersecting into each other's moves in the fight. As you say that Kingpin takes credit for the killing of Muse, there's also a great sequence where Kingpin gets out of a car and fixes a pothole.
Yes.
I think that's just... Do you remember that bit?
I do.
I just think it's just a great little character moment of... They're complaining that, nobody in this city gets anything done. Oh, all the politicians and the red tape and the bureaucracy. And Kingpin get outside of a car and just tell some builders to fix the pothole.
Yep.
And you go, that's great.
And then
that's such a character thing that he wants.
Speech.
Little speech. He wants it fixed. He wants it now. It gets done.
Yep.
Easy, get it done. And he just... It's that moment, those little character moments that you see. Again, when he's in the windowsill just talking to his lackey, that's fun as well. Whenever he's interacting with like Michael Gandolfini and he says, if you mess up and you tell this BB Urich or whatever, the daughter of Ben Urich or niece of Ben Urich, I'm not sure, which Kingpin killed in the Netflix show, because she gets some info that's leaked from Michael Gandolfini's character, and Kingpin's like, discipline him, says, I'm not going to fire you, but you mess up again and that'll be the last thing you ever do, or whatever, something like that. And you get the message from what Kingpin, like the performance of Kingpin, it's coming off greatly in this show.
There's so many little things, like you said, so many little things, so many other characters, like you mentioned, BB's in this, who was doing like going around people asking George.
Yeah, it's like on the street type stuff. Again, I wonder if that was a layover as well from the previous Netflix show, from the previous Daredevil show, sorry, because that feels like kind of the on the street perspective of what, and that's what Daredevil should be. Daredevil's not going to, fight Galactus tomorrow, right? Daredevil's never going to lay swords with Doctor Doom.
No,
it's like street street level combat, street level, fighting in a building, fighting in a park,
Yeah.
fighting in a, car park, something like that, right?
Yeah.
That's what it's going to be with Daredevil,
And
and you want the
obviously,
perspective
yeah.
from the man on the street.
Yes. And she's going around, and we see it in, I think, like, again, like 6 or 7 episodes where Daniel turns around. He's like, right, I've got a proposition for you. Tell people that it was the task force that killed Muse, and like he'll work out a deal for her, and she can live like this life that she wants.
Yeah.
Because Daniel now is getting a bit more serious. So he's developing as well. He was like a happy-go-lucky like guy who was, oh, we shouldn't change the tactics for the mayor. People are loving Fisk. It's becoming a me, and then like Fisk kind of just takes him under his wing a little bit, and slowly just kind of makes his way up. And there's all these characters, there's little ones like, again, Baby and Daniel and everyone else that can just kind of go different places, and presumably, obviously, we'll get more development and stuff.
Yeah, of course. And perhaps we should deliver a real rating for Daredevil Born Again. Do you want to do a whole series rating now, or would you like to wait until the finale comes out and we can?
So I'm gonna rate it up until kind of season 7, episode 7.
Season 7, my goodness me. Until episode 7.
Yeah, I'm gonna base it off of what it's been like up to, and how much it's making me want to obviously go and finish it off when it comes out on Monday, I think.
Okay.
And it's gonna be quite high from me.
Right, go ahead.
I really enjoyed it. I'm gonna give it a 9. Because I don't think it will. The season could end, and it could be dog awful.
Yes.
I highly doubt that. But I'm going to give it some space. It could get a 9.5. It could potentially get a prestigious 10 if it really hits the nail on
Okay.
But the thing for me is, I was watching all 7 episodes of this, and the thing that I like about this series is not just because how it does characters and how it does a story. Is this is the, I think, only Marvel, especially Marvel Disney Plus era, that I've been watching it, and it's made me go, you know what? I want to go read some comics with Punisher or Daredevil.
Yeah, it's done the same to me.
Yep.
Because after watching Daredevil Born Again, I've bought a Jessica Jones crime novel, and I'm now reading it, and I think it's really good. If you're interested, and not a sponsor, Lisa Jewell's Breaking the Dark, Jessica Jones crime novel.
Yeah, like I was researching, what comics is Muse in, and people are like, oh, he's actually quite new. He's like, I think he's in one run of Daredevil, is in 2 paperback comics or like an omnibus, and that's it. And I'm like, okay, what Punisher's one should I read? Okay, and it's the only Marvel one where it's made me go, actually, you know what? I want to read more into this.
Yeah, of course,
as a comic standpoint.
Fantastic, and I love things that can do that. I love things that can motivate you to go ahead and find more. So I will call giving it a 9.
Correct.
I'm going to give it. I'll give it an 8.5 with room to go up to 9.5. I think, yes, very happy. I'm very good with it so far. Very happy with it. But I want it to get better. Yeah. So therefore, I'll give it 8.5 with room to go up to a 9.5, 10 maybe, if it improves with time, which I'm confident it will do. But that's with room.
Yeah.
So thank you very much. Thank you for watching and listening to our review of Daredevil Born Again so far, with a couple episodes yet to go. But I imagine we'll get to them in good time. So thank you very much. It is a goodbye from me, goodbye, and a goodbye from Corey.
Goodbye.